Everyone, welcome back to the first layout with my little mini page kits. I'm going to ask you to bear with me because I recorded these maybe back in May, I think it was, and I honestly kind of forgot that I had them. And okay, well, a couple of things. I was in a bad mood then, a lot of you know, because I was transferring computers, couldn't figure out my software, etc. And so I pulled this kit out that I had mentioned and was just going to put together some kits, and I just wasn't feeling it. And I don't know if you could pick that up in the voice when I was putting the kits together, but anyways, long story short, I'm finally getting these videos up. I asked a friend, Nicole, if she thought putting up older videos was fine. She's like, go for it. So I am going to do it. But I don't really remember everything that I did. So again, bear with me. This first layout is going to be the more ice cream themed one. My original plan was to like number them kit 1, kit 2, and kit 3, but since I was in such a bad mood, I kind of forgot. Long story short, I forgot. So I am following a sketch by Scrapbook Generation and trying to decide what I want to do here. This layout, I really enjoy how it came out. I ended up having a lot more scraps than I had originally planned. I will show the video that I made, although some of my opinions may have changed. So I'm trying to decide. It was like the end video I did where I showed you everything that I had left over and what my plan was with it. So I might just do like a voiceover on that one. Oh, excuse me. So just cutting down the papers now to match up again with the sketch that I'm following. I don't even remember the sketch that I used, but I'm pretty sure it was probably a Scrapbook Generation one. And cutting down all these pieces. I love the ice cream paper. It's very pretty. I had all these Echo Park. It's not cardstock. It's, what do you call that? They're coordinating like solids, I guess is what you call those. That's one thing, again, I think I've mentioned before, but it's not something that I will purchase very often. After realizing, turn around and there's my shelf of cardstock that I could probably find that colored cardstock. I want to actually go through where I have all my colored cardstock and papers that are not part of kits, and possibly I'm thinking about organizing them a little better. Like right now there's like colored, I have it just labeled, for example, green. I just have green, and then I have green pattern. And if I don't know, and there's some that are basically the tone on tone. And so I think I just want to go through and actually have like a tone on tone area or adjust cardstock for it. So I am working on a room tour. It's hard. I'm not going to lie. Trying to hold the camera and this and that and not shake on you guys. And it's a long room to really show you everything. So I am kind of working on that. But anyways, let's get back to the layout. I did decide early on that I wanted to mount this entire layout with the pink backgrounds. So I did gut those pink backgrounds. I just gutted the middle and not left it with just 3 sides like I've done in the past. It just makes it a little easier to mount it all. And I used my grid mat there on the back. I'm going to use that to help. And again, if you're new to my channel, this is how I mount my layouts. I put Scrappy tape on all 4 sides, but I only pull up 1 side at a time until I get it glued down. So there it's glued down, and now the rest I can just pull up the backing from the adhesive, and it makes it easier to get it straight. I am OCD, a lot of you probably know, so getting it straight is really important to me. In fact, I think that one even went just a tiny bit. Yeah, I had to trim it just a hair because I still didn't get it exactly lined up, but it was such a tiny amount that I had to cut off. It didn't really matter. So I'm going to line this one up and do the same thing. One thing I always seem to do wrong when I'm doing a double page and I want to mount it is I always cut that main piece wrong. So this time I really paid attention. So I actually have around the same width. I'm as close as I can to the same width on all 3 sides. A lot of times I will cut the very insides bigger than I should have. And this time I really measured. And I think what I did was cut a 1/4 inch off one side and a 1/2 inch on the other so that there's a 1/4 inch all the way around. I believe that is what I did. So I'm going to take my pattern papers now, and I don't think I even inked the edges for this layout. I can't remember if I did the other layouts, but I'm pretty sure I didn't for this one because, and you can see I cut that pattern paper wrong. So I just added it there. You might have seen me add that there. And I knew it was going to be covered up by these banners. So that is what I did that. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions about this banner punch. And you can see I'm being a little bit careful here. So this punch is by Stampin' Up. It's like their banner trio, something or other. I just recently got mine within the last couple months, so I know that you can get one. What I did was I cut the first banner. I'm going to go a little bit back and forth so you can see what I'm doing here. I cut the first couple notches, but now I'm kind of just cutting using the already pre-cut notches as my guide to cut more notches. The reason I'm doing that, if you use that punch, be aware that it will cut 1/2 inch off whatever paper you are putting in that punch. So if you saw when I first started using it, I lined it up just along where the banner edges were going to be so that it would not cut off that full 1/2 inch. It would only cut the notch. I love that punch because those are some nice banner shapes that you get. But I was kind of tired of trying to line them all up, and I wanted them all to stay the same length. You can see here, I don't remember. She had hers a little different on the sketch. I think she might have had them all the same length, but maybe different pattern papers. But that is why I basically took the one already pre-punched banner and just used it as kind of the template for cutting the notches out of the other one. And that worked really well. That way I didn't have to worry about accidentally cutting too much paper off or anything like that. So, but yes, that is Stampin' Up! Punch. And again, it's called like Banner Trio, something or other. Sorry, I don't have a better name for you. But really, once you put that in, if you Google that, tons of things pop up. So cutting these down, I think Allison Davis in her sketch had a few extra lines along here. Not lines, pattern paper strips. So she had the banners and then some just like stripe strips. I believe she used all stripe strips. I had that one pattern paper that was stripe strip, but I also had this one here. And you can see what I did with my little mini cutter was I took some of that removable adhesive and I lined it up on my mini cutter so that I would have that single strip. So that one has all those circles on it. And I wanted one row of the circles, and I believe I wanted it for the very right-hand side of the page. So I took that, and you can see it actually worked out really well. I wasn't sure, but lining it up, when you use the adhesive in those trimmers, the Fiskars trimmers, it really helps so you can get a more precise cut like that on a small piece of paper. That is my favorite thing to do. I need to get a new cutter for that blade for that cutter, but that is what I like to do. And if you use just that little self-adhesive or removable adhesive, then it works pretty well. So now I have those two strips there, and I think this is where I'm basically kind of going off on my own. Again, she had some stripe strips on her sketch, but it was not like how I have mine. I don't even know how many banner strips she had. So I am using some of my favorite peel-offs. These are so much fun to play with. Sometimes I forget to use them, other times I don't, but they are so much fun. And again, I don't know. I will let you know if she has a free shipping event, but with everything that's going on, I kind of have a feeling that won't happen for a little while. So I have this, it's not really a rose gold, kind of more of a, what would you call that kind of gold? It is kind of more on the rosy side, but it's not really, not gold. Why am I saying gold? Pink. Rose pink is kind of what I'm thinking of. And so I just added a couple. It's a little bit different than the paper, but that's kind of what helps it stand out a little bit, I feel like. So I really like how I put those on there. I think I mentioned in my making of these little small kits, I am going to scrapbook some photos of us going to the ice cream factory, or it's actually called the Tillamook Cheese Factory, but we always get the ice cream there. So it's just, and sometimes I even mess up and call it the Cheesecake Factory because, you know, that place, but So that's what I did. I went through and I was actually happy that I found some photos from one summer. I want to say this is 2014. It seems like I have a lot of my beach and vacation photos, mostly beach photos left to do. I wanted to show you here on this side. This Rayhan paper, I needed that strip there, but I had cut it the wrong direction. So what I'm doing now, sorry for my chair, I'm really sorry. It's hard for me to buy a new chair right now, not being able to go in the store and try them out. I can't wear a mask for very long because I get very claustrophobic. So I go out as little as possible. So it's just easier for me to not go shopping for a chair right now. So I do apologize, but I'm doing my best, right? We're all doing our best. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, so I did luckily find another piece that I could cut to put there. I was almost having a panic moment right at that time because it was like, oh, I need this piece to go over here. And I probably would have used it anyway, but anyways, I'm glad I found that piece. And I'm not sure if you saw me there. I used that little Lawn Fawn glue tube. This little tiny piece is maybe 1/8 of an inch wide. And that little Lawn Fawn glue tube is one of the best for stuff like that. I love my Nuvo glue and I love the Lawn Fawn tube. The Nuvo glue would have been, I think, just a little bit too much glue for a small strip like that. But the Lawn Fawn glue tube, like I've had it, it's never clogged on me. And there are links below to those adhesives, but it's never clogged on me and it's comes out so slow. The only thing I don't like about the Lawn Fawn glue tube, which I feel like I should say, is you do sometimes have to squeeze it. I keep mine stored upside down so I don't feel like I have to squeeze it as much, but you do have to sometimes really give it a squeeze, but it still never clogs. And so I just thought I would mention that's what I use to glue that little tiny 1/8 of an inch strip down. So now again, see, I wanted that. I'm so glad that I cut that little piece off too, because now I have that dotted pattern paper and it was the only piece I had. I think it was a border piece. And so I looked and it was the only one I had. So, but now I have that polka dot strip, both on the very left-hand side and the very right-hand side. So again, I'm also just taking some of these peel-offs and putting them along the edge, just like I did on the very left-hand side. You can see I've already glued down the photos on that side. This side, I'm taking this blue paper. And I believe this is following the sketch pretty much. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is just going off what she had. But I just took them and I mounted all the photos on that pattern paper, the blue one. I thought that helped them stand out quite a bit. Now I'm going to play around a little bit with the placement of these. Just the way the photos were, I really like the fact, though, that it's one of each of my kids, so the 3. On the other side has more pictures of us, but this side, it kind of really helps the kids stand out. So I liked that. So you're going to see me kind of playing a little bit. Hers on her sketch were really wonky. And just, I don't know, the way my photos were, I was trying not to have them go the exact same direction as each other, and I was trying not to line them up completely along each other along the side so that they were like parallel. So I finally figured that out and got that down, and that is the layout. I love, let's see, there's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 photos again. You guys know I love to do multi-photo layouts and a lot of double pages, so that is a lot of fun. Now I'm going to come to all of the embellishments that I pulled out for this little mini kit. One of them was this, I think this is a 4x4 card, and it had this ice cream on it. And I thought, well, that's perfect. So I'm going to fussy cut, and it was a super easy fussy cut. I wasn't trying to be perfect with it, but I really liked the saying. And I thought, I think it says ice cream is always a good idea, something like that. I thought there's no better place. Now it bugged me that it didn't have the bottom part of the cone, but you can see I tucked it in up above the photos on the left, and it's just a small part of the title. I would call that more my subtitle, if that's the right word. But I'm glad that I got it used. I was happy about that. And now I'm just kind of placing the other things around. I cut this, there was a tag that was like an ice cream cone kind of shape, or not really shape, but it was like texture, the ice cream cone texture. So I cut off the white top to be just part of the tag because it had the sprinkles on it for the very right hand side. Now those sprinkles are the same sprinkles that are on the ice cream cone that I fussy cut on the left-hand side. So it brought that same sprinkly look to both sides of the layout. And now I also wanted to use the brad. So I'm just kind of, you can see I don't have a ton of, I realized a lot of those icons and pieces were popsicles and they would have worked just fine, but I kind of wanted to stick more just to the ice cream. So you can see I added a couple ice cream cones there, and the camera was really cute too. The pictures, the camera picked up not only was it cute, but it picked up a lot on the colors. So the blue that I mounted the photos on the left-hand side, it picked up on that blue, and of course the pinks that are all around. So I'm really glad I used that camera. And I pulled up this piece here because I wanted to stamp the date. You're going to see that actually changes here in a little while, so I will show you. But just trying to line the cone back up where it was because I ripped some of the paper pulling it up, but that's okay. You never know in the end, right? Now to the work on the left-hand side. I really, really wanted to use that pink Polaroid, what is that, a frame, whatever you call that. But I'm going to struggle with that big time, and I'm going to go back and forth quite a bit. Again, over here, I wanted some more ice cream pieces. I wanted to bring the blue over here because it's, you know, on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, so I wanted it kind of in this cluster as well. And then I really liked this little smile sticker. I thought it was kind of sweet, and the color, it really popped. So it's kind of that darker pink color. So now I have that dark pink Polaroid frame. I have the pink smile. And then in my last cluster, I have that dark pink ice cream cone. So again, just bringing all those colors around to each of the clusters really helps. And here's one thing I want to point out that a lot of people worry about. When you're making a cluster, I know a lot of people say that everything should be touching. Get rid of that rule. No, I do not care for that rule. I don't know where it came from, but if you look at every cluster on every layout that I have, some things are touching, some things aren't. You can see my enamel dots and my brads very rarely touch anything else. So if you struggle with clusters, start by maybe changing the fact that they all need to touch. I have had full intentions to do the cluster class for you guys, but I haven't. I was going to start it right when the kids got out of school, and doing live videos is a little harder. And for the cluster class, I want to be able to do them not more live. You know what I mean? Like I can actually talk through and show you as I go. So I will get there. But I do apologize that I haven't done it yet. So I figured maybe as I go along, I will kind of slowly talk about clusters. So here was where I changed that date that I was mentioning. I'm going to put the year 2014. I found these. I want to say these are Fancy Pants or Jelly Bean Soup. One of the two. Maybe you guys know where it came in the big package instead of like on a sticker sheet. And I just ran them through my Xyron sticker maker, which I never remember that I have. And I did the title, Let's Get Ice Cream, and I had the numbers, and I thought I really wanted to use those up, and I wanted to bring that pink over. So it worked out really well, and I love how it looks. But I had to cover up the date, and I'm not worried about the specific date being on here because, well, do I add it or not? I'm not sure, but I know that we only went to the beach once this summer, so I'm not worried about that. I had put something behind this frame. Again, I mentioned that I struggled with it for quite a while. And then I decided this is part of the piece, the little tab with the sprinkles that I put on the very right-hand side that I talked about earlier in the video. This was the rest of that tag. And again, it had the ice cream texture to it. And I put it behind that pink Polaroid. And once I did it, I was like, oh, I don't like that. I'm not crazy about that, but so I'm going to fix it. I am just holding it down now just to make sure that the glue gets on there really well. So again, here is a popsicle, and it doesn't go along with the ice cream theme. I'm still looking around. I decided I didn't like the popsicle. It just, if I had more popsicles around the page, it wouldn't have mattered, but I only had that one. So went to the other sticker sheet that I ended up not touching and got this ice cream cone, and it matches the texture that's underneath the box. So it's kind of hidden, I guess you would call it, but I was okay with that. in the end, once I'm done with this cluster, you can't even really, you don't pay attention. It's more just for fun. So I'm going to pop up with some foam tape. Sorry, I got distracted for a second there. I'm going to pop up with some foam tape the middle of the ice cream cone where the rest of it sits on the frame. So I'm just adding some wet glue to that area. And I'm going to glue that over that one. And I end up really liking how this frame looks in the end. So I'm glad that I persevered and did not give up on the frame. So adding that there, I'm trying to use up some of these stickers. I don't think I use up as many as I want, but I ended up setting this one here, the word summer above 2014. And looking at it now, it looks really crooked and that bugs me, but that's okay. It's on there. It's not moving. I put that there, and since it had more of that shiny texture or the epoxiness to it, I wanted to bring that around to the rest of the layout. Just so it wasn't the only one there. Again, I'm adding brads in this cluster because my other clusters, so in the brad sheets, what's in my clusters is like one brad and one like chipboard. So the brad sheet came with some like round circle chipboard pieces that I separated into the different kits. And then I'm using another little brad in each cluster. So it's a trio of 3. But again, look, I mean, it's touching some things in that area, but if those things weren't there, I wouldn't have cared at all. So just know that not everything has to be touching. That's my opinion anyway. And then I'm going to finally find these sunglasses. Excuse me. This is the same like epoxy sticker I was mentioning. I wanted to bring that texture over. So I just decided to pop the the sunglasses on that frame, and it kind of takes away from the oddness of that frame. And then I just added some more of these around, and I really like how it came out. So that is pretty much going to be my layout. I love this sketch. I love how it turned out. It's put me in a better mood when I did this one. And I'm just going through the last of my embellishments to make sure I didn't miss anything. But there you go. There is that. Oh, and I did add that little smiley face to that frame. I forgot about that. So, and I did add that circle to the middle of the camera, but I kind of don't like it, but it was on there. It was not coming off. So thanks for watching, everyone. Let's get to the next layout. See you next time. Bye.